hide that smile. Head high, head high, head high, you've got to smile. See you laugh, see you dance, take that away every day. See you dry, turn your head, then we slap your face. Bow down, bow down, bow down in your life. Head down, head down, head down, hide that smile. Head high, head high, head high, you've got to smile. Head high, head high, head high, you've got to smile. See you laugh, see you dance, take that away every day. See you dry, turn your head, then we slap your face. Bow down, bow down, bow down, hide down. Head down, head down, head down, hide that smile. Head high, head high, head high, you've got to smile. Head high, head high, head high, you've got to smile. Welcome to another episode of the apocalypse. And since you have unwisely chosen the apocalypse, you are in urgent need of a guide. Unfortunately for me, I am that guide, your humble guide, Nicholas. So good to see you again. There were so many abominations and blasphemies uttered and done today. I can't keep track of them all. Yeah, I was barely paying attention today. I was so tired, worn the fuck out. I think I'm getting something too, like I'm ill or some shit. I don't know. But anyway, I was just kind of half-assing it, and I wasn't like posting the stuff, and I was just kind of like anything that interested me, just taking pictures. I ended up with over 60 fucking pictures. Worse than when I'm paying attention. And every day I just get convinced more and more that I'm right. I really want to see the day where I get convinced that I'm wrong. Just like the rock star stuff. I was really hoping for that day to come. It never did. Just more and more people trying to hide the truth and trying to paint me as some type of nefarious individual, when everyone who tried to paint me that were literally nefarious individuals. Some have records. Some have lost their jobs for nefarious things. Some are adjudicated criminals like Google here. Shut down everywhere else. Everywhere I go, people. Anyway, the nefarious individual is not me. It's the ones talking about me all over the years. And these people in this picture right here, very nefarious, or many nefarious things going on in that group. But, let's talk about the YouTube guy with 2,000 subs. And that's after Google ruined my business. I had like 10,000 subs and all kind of things going on. It was great. All organic, too. I didn't buy bots like you people do, like probably most of the people in my audience here. All organic. No commercials, no bots, no nothing. Just me. That's all. But let's get to this, the downfall of our nation in the apocalypse, and watch how many of you argue in favor of it. So many of you are so lost, so bloody lost, including the foreign troll that thinks this bullshit that they're helping make happen by lying on social media all over the place isn't going to come to their doorstep too. The funny thing is, it's already at all their doorsteps. If you're a Saudi troll, you live in hell. If you're a Chinese troll, you live in hell. If you're a Russian troll, you live in literal hell and you might end up on the front. That's the point. If you're an Indian troll, you live in hell. Public defecation. It's an issue in your country. Caste system, all that. So at least the people you were fucking with, us over here, we at least had it good for a while. You never did. And you still shilling for it for that 30 rupees a week or whatever the fuck they pay you. So sad. And it's going to come to your doorstep, son. You're going to have it worse, if you can imagine that, than your countries already are now. Billionaires poised to lose near $500 billion in 2 days. Yes, that's the Antichrist, baby. That's the kind of chaos, evil, thievery he's capable of, but you all saw this in the first term, and you chose to ignore it because of your brainwashing or your greed. The Donald Trump double cross. I believe this was a parody that Kimmel's people did. I'm not sure. And what this is it's a cross with Jesus on one side and Donnie on the other, because no one whines and complains of crucifixion and persecution like Donnie. I mean, every single day. He still says he won the 2020 election, by the way. He didn't even win the 2016 election. Hillary beat him, won the popular vote. So he didn't even win that shit. Again, the Electoral College, the only way a loser can win, baby. Only way. So Kimmel did this parody of Donnie talking about how he's so persecuted, and he's selling this Donald Trump double cross. Nice play on words there, too. I don't usually find Kimmel very funny, but this was good. I have to give them credit. This was a damn good parody piece. I posted the link to the video earlier today if you'd like to see it. Check it out one more time. No one loves to put themselves up on the cross more than Donnie. In the commercial, he said many people are saying he's been persecuted more than Jesus in the commercial. And again, it's parody. Calm down. Gulf of stupidity. This is a sign, it looks like, from one of the protests, possibly. Yes, while idiots are worrying about culture wars, renaming gulfs of water, Donnie's robbing you blind, and your 401k just lost thousands. But keep shilling for it until the fire literally comes to your doorstep. You probably still be shilling for it. That brainwashing is just too deep in you people, man. Too deep. And you know who I'm talking to. And I have a bunch of these different members of Donnie's cabinet, because they've all been sent out. All the cretins, all the demons destined for the lake have been sent out to the news shows to laugh and lie and say how great it is that the market dropped 4 Gs in 2 days. And we haven't even gotten to tomorrow's drop, which I'll get to, don't worry. So this is Stephanopoulos asking a gentleman, someone named Hassett. Stephanopoulos, the president retweeted a post that said the market drop was part of a deliberate strategy. Is that the president's strategy? If not, why did he post it? Hassett, hey, ha. The bottom line, yeah, they laugh about this. They laugh, they smile, you know, because it ain't hurting them. They're all in the know. They got their money out the market or moved it or bet against the market. Whatever they had to do, they've all done it. That's why they're smiling right now and you're not. So, hey, ha, the bottom line is the president has been talking about tariffs for 40 years. Indeed, he has. The president is allowed to have an opinion. Indeed, he is allowed to have an opinion. And then someone says, so that is his strategy. Stephanopoulos again. So that is his strategy. And I don't need to hear where it goes from there. So this Hassett gentleman, I forget what position they have, a position in government or who they are. Again, talking about this like it's no big deal. But I do have to say to you people, you people that have money in the market, 401ks, your retirement, whatever, your farm, whatever, your business, you're all crying right now. You're also surprised. Did you watch Donnie in the first term when he did the crazy tariff grift and lined his pockets? Because he thinks that's his money, the Treasury. And it is his now because he's Caesar and no one's stopping him. So you saw the tariffs during the first term, right, guys? You just chose to ignore that. The brainwashing just erased all that right out of your mind, right? Because I remember farmers that voted for Donnie who wanted us to rally around them and were complaining on social media. A whole movement started because Donnie cost all the farmers their trading partners. And that's a valuable thing, a trading partner. That's how you make a living, son. A lot of them committed suicide, lost their farms, etc. But that's always been the point, farmers of America, to fuck you over. And that's the Republican Party, son. To fuck you over and swoop in and steal your fucking land. That's been the goal since, I don't know, 1969. And you've been falling for it every time, voting for the literal people that want to swoop in and take your land. Why do you think they fuck you over every time? That's why. Because you have valuable land. Hey, you might even have oil on it. Who knows? So again, farmers, business people, stockholders, did you not watch Donnie in the first term? I sure fucking did. I didn't forget any of it. I've been trying to remind you people, I was trying to remind you before the election, hoping you'd make the smart play. Nah, you knew better. Now you're going to lose your 401k, son. So yes, Donnie showed you who he was the first term. You all chose to ignore it. Now you got Jim Cramer who voted for him. All you people that voted for him, you watched him fuck the market utterly last time. Blame it on COVID when it wasn't totally COVID's fault. It was Donnie's fault too. A lot of tariffs, a lot of businesses ruined. And then when the COVID relief money came, most of the Republican Congress and Senate just used that as a grift slush fund to steal for themselves and their buddies. And now I'm hearing they don't even want to do a bailout for you farmers this time. Because again, the point's to ruin and crash it, son. That's what I've been telling you for 2 months. That's why I begged you people, rich and poor, not to put them back in. And to turn away. Your time grows shorter every day. You need to turn away. And I shouldn't even care about you, honestly. Because what are you going to do when you hear what I have to say? You're going to talk shit. You're going to get mad. Instead of looking in the mirror and saying, I fucked up. And I need to end this fuck up right now. And turn the other way. Nope. You'll go down with the motherfucking ship. Right over the cliff. Into the abyss. Following your orange messiah. I'm sure. I have faith in so many of you. You prove me right every time. Here's Welker and Besant. And remember, Besant's the Treasury guy, the new Treasury head whose head shakes when he talks. So I guess he's got early stage Parkinson's or some shit, and probably should retire. Before, people pull the pitchforks out because it's getting close. Here's Welker, the reporter. The markets lost more than $6 trillion in value in 2 days. Was this disruption always part of the plan? Well, yeah, it literally was. The plan is to ruin your country, son, on behalf of Vlad, on behalf of Donnie and Leon, so they can have their co-Caesarship North American empire, cashless, no borders. Bring whatever peasant wants to work for nothing to work. That's why they don't like borders anymore, the New World Order people. Because then they can get, Guatemalans to come do work up here. They pretend they don't like those people. But when those people come and work for 5 cents an hour, they love them. They love them. So was this disruption part of the plan? Yes, it was. But Besant isn't going to say that. We had record volume on Friday and everything is working very smoothly. Yeah, the volume was motherfuckers selling, calling their broker up, sell that shit before it drops another 50,000. So the American people can take great comfort in that. No, we can't, Mr. Besant. And see, Mr. Besant had the inside track on all this. That's why he's so calm right now. And that's why your 401k is 50,000 down in 2 days after a lifetime of saving. But Mr. Besant said, it's going smooth. It's great. Record volume. In other words, don't worry about how high the Dow is. Worry about the volume. So if all of you tomorrow call up first thing in the morning to sell all your stock, every single one of you, well, we'd have record volume then. And that'd be a good thing, right? Right, JP Morgan? Right, Mr. Besant? Piece of shit. Yeah, all of them. They got Brooke Rollins, they got Besant, they had Nutlick, all of them, because they know how bad this is. And what's sad is they all go out and do this and smile and act as if it's normal and do that evil willingly, even though they're all already rich and could retire right now and never have to work another fucking day in their life. They still want more. They still want to take what you have and your happiness and your freedom and your rights and your guns. Yeah, you heard me. Can you have an effective Reich? Can you subjugate the people if everyone has guns? No, you can't. Expect them, son. Expect them. Okay, let's go to the next cretin. This is Brooke Rollins, the real haggard, disgusting, entitled, obnoxious, hideous cretin, who's absolutely fucking worthless in every answer she gives. And she's going to prove it right here. Watch. Jake Tapper, you're imposing a 10% on the herd and McDonald Islands. 10% tariff, that is. That's where the penguins are, in case you don't know. No humans, penguins. That's how evil these cunts are. Just, they see a landmass, just tariff it. Why are you putting tariffs on islands that are entirely populated by penguins? Brooke Rollins. Come on, Jake. What do you mean, come on, bitch? Whatever, she says. Whatever. Listen, the people that are leading this are serious, intentional, patriotic, the smartest people I've ever worked with. The smartest people I've ever worked with. Really, 4,000 down in 2 days. How's your 401k looking? Do they seem smart? They're evil. They're not smart. In other words, They're evil to ruin, they're evil enough to ruin Social Security and ruin your 401k because they need you desperate. We got a satanic Nazi Reich forming. They need you desperate. And what they really need, look up Peter Thiel. Look what he's into. Look up Leon Scum. Look what he's into. Their financial theses or theses or feces. Crypto, baby, digital. Because it's worthless. You can just press a button. Meaningless, worthless, just like Brooke Rollins. I've never heard Brooke give one legit answer. It's always such a worthless, nothing answer. Do these cunts think they're fooling anyone? Even the rubes are mad at these people. They're not even fooling the rubes right now. Miss Rollins, Mr. Besant, Mr. Nutlick, Mr. Hassett. I mean, my God, do you people have any dignity? You'd really just bend over for Satan and Donnie, huh? You're doing it. Nutlick's the worst. Nutlick makes a used car salesman look honest. Here's Nutlick. First, Brennan, you've said that robots are going to fill those jobs. Yes, Nutlick talked about automation and all of us doing the work the Vietnamese are doing, like putting little screws in iPads. That's what Nutlick envisions for us. Here's Nutlick. It's automated factories, the armies of millions and millions of human beings screwing in little screws to make iPhones. That kind of thing is going to come to America. It's going to be automated. In one breath, he's talking about full automation of these new manufacturing facilities that are coming. So no jobs for any of you. Very few. Another breath, he's saying you're going to get those jobs. All bullshit. The wet dream is automating it all. That's what Nutlick and his boys and the greedy at the top want. And then they still want you to buy their shitty products when you have no income. That's after they steal your income via ruining the market, via ruining Social Security, getting us into World War III. Nutlick's one of the worst. Our so-called president is playing golf again this morning for the fourth day in a row as the market braces for a bloodbath on Monday, thanks to Trump's reckless global trade war. Yeah, here's a picture of the golf trip, the 4-day golf trip you're paying for him and his entire entourage. Well done, Rubes. You're all geniuses. No one gets over on you, Rubes. Again, here's Donnie golfing as Rome burns, new Rome. That's your Messiah. Golfing while the 4 troops from Lithuania who died come back. Does he have time to do that? No, he's too busy golfing with the Saudis. Your 401k losing value by the second. What's he doing? Oh, he's golfing on your dime at his own club and pocketing the money. Like I said, no one gets over on you, Rubes. You're all way too wise. This is regarding a third grader that was allegedly taken into ICE custody. Let's just read it. Again, I said this the second he got in, and each day after I reiterated, we are going into the dystopian nightmare that you've all read about your entire life. And I know you've heard a lot of people say that, but they're not me, son. I wouldn't say it unless it was happening. We are going into it. You're seeing it. Let me read this to you. Message from the Sackett's Harbor principal. As the principal of these students, I need to speak plainly. Our 3 students who were taken by ICE were doing everything right. They had declared themselves to immigration judges, attended court on their assigned dates, and were following the legal process. They are not criminals. They have no ties to any criminal activity. They are loved in their classrooms. Their family has worked at the nearby Old McDonald's petting zoo and dairy farm for 15 years. They lived in a house on the same road as a home ICE had a warrant for. The fact that ICE went door to door is unfathomable. Unfathomable. The fact that our students were handcuffed and put in the same van as the alleged criminal from down the street is unconscionable. When I think of my third graders' experience, my stomach twists and it is hard to breathe. Yes, I wonder who the big, tough, brave cunts were that took those children out and put them in a van with a fucking pedophile. I really wonder who those cunts are. Guess what, anonymous cunts? You have an appointment with me at the lake. Who am I? I'm called the Second Death. That's who I am. All of you that grabbed these children and terrorized them out of their school so you could please the fucking Antichrist and have a cheesy little home and a cheesy little car. You have an appointment with me at the lake, son. Every masked damn one of you. We are in shock, and it is that shared shock that has unified our community and the call for our students' release. We are in direct communication with our students. Let me be clear. They are not being medically evaluated. They are not being questioned as potential victims. Calling a detention center by another name does not change what it is. Indeed. We deserve better than spin and misinformation. My teachers and my students are already hurting. Please think about how long every hour feels for a third grader in a detention center. Now, here's what I want you to think about. The people that think this is funny, the people that are shilling for this, the people that put their name on it. Please think about how long every hour feels for a third grader in a detention center. I want you to think how every hour feels in the lake, son. Because that's what you got to look forward to. Picture that. Don't picture the child sitting in the detention center. Picture you sitting in the lake. The wait had already been too long a week ago. I have no other agenda. Please release my students and their mother back to our community. Jamie Cook, pre-K through 12 principal, Sackett's Harbor, New Jersey. If you're wondering what evil is, Rubes, because you obviously don't know or don't care, or maybe you're just evil, maybe that's why your name's on this. This is evil, son. This is evil. And I know your daddy didn't tell you that. Your mammy didn't tell you that. You just got brainwashed by idiots. That's why you call evil good and good evil. That's how malleably vapid you are. So if you're wondering what evil is, it looks like this. A statement written by a principal begging to help her 3 students, young students. Just in case you didn't know. Confirmed cases of measles in the U.S. I have not verified these numbers, I'll be honest with you. But this is someone I trust. They put up good information. But you can verify them for yourself. In 2020, there were 13 confirmed measles cases. In 2021, there were 49 confirmed measles cases in the U.S. In 2022, there were 121 confirmed cases. In 2023, there were 59. In 2024, there were 285. 2025, first 90 days. 628 confirmed cases of measles and 3 deaths. Gee, I wonder what happened early 2025. Why'd the numbers jump up like that? Oh, yeah, Donnie got inaugurated. The Antichrist. Plagues. Seems to be getting a lot worse. Seems way above the old numbers. Since January. I noticed down here since Donnie got in office, since January, there's been a straight up drought. I've never seen the trees look like this. I've been here for years. It happened in the span of 2.5 months. I know why it's happening. Sorry, I lost my place. So again, we went from 13 cases in 2020 to 628 confirmed cases in 2025 first 90 days. Highest number was 2024, 285. Before this 628 number started January of this year. Okay, here's Welker and Besant again. Welker, Trump promised he was going to improve the economy starting on day one. What is your message to Americans who want to retire right now and have just seen their lifetime savings drop significantly? Well, here's Besant. Most Americans who have put away for years in their savings account, who can do that? Who does that? Don't look at the day-to-day fluctuations of what's happening. When a one-bedroom costs $2,000 or $1,900 or $1,800, who has money to save? So guys like Besant, who are, multi-billionaires, yeah, they can say phrases and sentences like that as if they're normal. No, most people have no savings. Why? Because people like Besant and his buddies jacked up the cost of everything. The scam called inflation. Where a one-bedroom apartment was $575 in 1990 or 89. And a one-bedroom is $2,000 now. That makes sense, right? That's not a grift. That's not a scam on poor people at all. It's economic science, right? That's what you'll tell me? No, it's a scam, son. That's all it is. And I knew greed would be the downfall of this nation. All the landlords, that's all their landlord next to them, jack up the rent $1,500, so they figured they'd do the same. You people made this world the way it is. For no other reason than you're fucking greedy. Now it's going to cost you everything. And I bet most of you put your name on Besant and Donnie. Gonna cost you everything. I promise you. Even the cunts with the smug smiles on their face as they lie to you as your 401k disappears. Intentionally. ICE is arresting third graders, handcuffing them, and putting them in detention with adult criminals. Yes, that's what they did. I already read you the statement. A story in 2 parts. A guy named Jack. Being a Trump hater has to be so mentally and physically exhausting. Here's Jack again after he probably lost a couple million in the market because he probably runs a PR firm and has bots typing these fucking things up. He probably doesn't even go on his social media. Here's Jack again. Guys, did we accidentally elect a complete retard? Now, I thought Jack on Twitter was Dorsey, but I guess not. Got a picture of some star there or something. And it's Jack at Depression 2019, so I doubt it's Jack Dorsey or whatever the fuck his name is. So again, we have a abject shill. I can tell this account is straight up shillery. Just by the icon, the name, the blue check, everything. Being a Trump hater has to be so mentally and physically exhausting. Well, wait a minute. Jack turned into a Trump hater after his public relations firm lost a couple million in 2 days. Guys, did we accidentally elect a complete retard? No, you didn't. Yes, Donnie is he's about as smart as an ape intellectually. But what Donnie has been doing his whole life is grifting as he breathes. Every breath and statement and sentence and action is for the grift. Everything. So we keep calling him stupid. We keep calling him a retard for the tariffs. No, it's intentional. I told you way back after he got elected, they have to crash it. Why? Because they need you on that Donnie coin. I told you, Antichrist, apocalypse, no more borders, cashless society, all that dystopian nightmare shit you've been reading about, Alex Jones and all those people I've been telling you about, was coming. But the thing is, you and Alex were ushering it in for Satan, whether you knew it or not. Again, it doesn't matter to me if you're an empty vessel who is not, but, a void to fill by Satan. Doesn't matter to me. All that matters to me is your actions. What you put your name on, what you support, what you shill for. That's all that matters to me. I don't care how you got possessed or got used because you're so stupid. I just care what you're doing. So all the people that sat there and watched Alex Jones and all these other Cernovich and all these lying, grifting-ass snake oil salesmen, white nationalists, you, Alex and Cerno, and all of you, you've all been the literal hand of Satan that has ushered this in. Alex, again, is on straight-up team globalist. There's no bigger globalist than Leon Scum. And Leon's fortune makes Soros' fortune look like nothing. And Leon seems to be everywhere. You notice that? Just like Alex and you liars say about Soros all the time. So no, they're not retards in that respect. Is Leon a smart guy? Absolutely not. Is Donnie a smart guy? Absolutely not. But they are liars. They're experienced liars. And they know the classic move by Donnie and Leon is always, it's gonna get better. In 2 years, this is gonna happen. In 6 months, this is gonna happen. It's gonna, just take the pain now. It's gonna get better. Those are the lies they've been telling their whole fucking life, especially the past 5 years. So again, we've got an abject shill account for Donald Trump and the right wing in this country. This shill account probably represented by a public relations firm. That's probably why the change in attitude. Did we accidentally elect a retard? At least they're admitting they put their name on it. No, let me put this down for a minute. I'm going to explain to you right now what you elected, okay? Are you ready? I've been saying this since 2015 because I got the itch, baby. And I did the research. You elected the Antichrist. The Antichrist. And what is the Antichrist going to do? He's going to turn your country and this world into a nightmare dystopia. You're watching it happen. Literally. Everything I said he was going to do so far, he's done. And eventually what he's going to do, the end goal, the end goal. Temple set up in Israel. Donnie walks in, says he's God, or they put a statue of him in there or some abomination. End goal. Worship for Donnie and his daddy Satan. The same way when you worship God the Father, you go through Jesus Christ. So when you worship Jesus Christ, you're worshiping God the Father through Jesus Christ. It's the same setup with the false Trinity. And that'd be Satan, Donnie, and Leon. Because you elected Leon too, even though you pretend you didn't know. Leon is what we call the false prophet. And again, you're looking at the guy who's never pointed at anyone else in his life and called them the Antichrist or the false prophet. Because certain qualifications had to be met, and Donnie and Leon have met all of them, son. I'm not going to break all that down for you. But I just want to remind you that what you've literally elected, I know, again, you thought you were just voting for the regular evil you usually vote for, and you were going to get to just go on about your business and go on your way.
as you did that harm and that evil to the world. You thought it was going to be the same as all the other times. It's not going to be. Again, because you chose to put your name on the Antichrist. And one day, the Antichrist, because it's not enough that he stole your money, your future, your children's future, got us involved in World War III, and that's coming too. Don't worry, I promise. He wants your soul too. That's the real goal. Worship of Donnie, worship of his daddy Satan, and you're so lost. After you've already lost your 401k, your income, your job, your family's future, everything. Your country, already gone. That's long gone. After you've lost all of that, and you're desperate and vulnerable and beaten, that's when the devil, Donnie and Leon, going to come to you. And they're going to say, we've got the solution to the problem. Here's this Donnie coin. And just sign this little, renouncement of the Trinity real quick. Do you hear what I'm saying to you? You put your name on abject evil, and that abject evil is going to come to you in the future after it's taken everything from you. And it's going to ask for that last thing that you have. I wonder how many of you are going to give it. If I had to guess, I would say most. That's what you elected. In case you didn't know. And I don't care if you believe me, don't believe me, agree with me, love me, hate me. It's still happening, son. Again, the movie The Matrix, a brilliant scene. And don't get me wrong when I say this. Morpheus and the general in the third movie. The general says to Morpheus, Morpheus, not everyone believes what you believe. And Morpheus says, my beliefs don't require them to. Now, I don't want you to mistake me when I co-sign that. What I mean by that is, even though you don't want the devil coming to your door, he's still coming. Whether you believe it or not, you're prepared for it or not, you care about it or not, the devil still coming to your door. The Reich, the devil, all of it. I promise you, already come to many of your doors. Will come to all your doors. Does that mean when I say my beliefs don't require them to, I want a Christian nationalist dictatorship and everyone has to be a Christian, blah, blah? No, absolutely not. I actually believe in the Constitution. I don't think anyone should be forced to practice any religion. My point is, I'm not about forcing people into a religion. I believe in personal freedom and no state-sanctioned religion. That's what I believe in. So what I mean when I say my beliefs don't require them to, again, it doesn't matter what religion you believe in, whether you agree with me, none of it. It's all still coming. Why? Because that's the mission Donnie and Leon have for they daddy. That's why it's coming to your door. That's why I don't waste my time debating any of you. Because again, folks, I'm already at the lake. You're still debating the difference between good and evil. I'm light years away from you. Why would I debate you? You're still here in this world. I'm somewhere else, son. And we've already lost our country. What are we debating over? How bad the Reich has ruined our lives today? Anyway, here is the declaration of a man who entered the United States legally and was sent to Guantanamo Bay, explaining the cruelty with which the Trump officials treated him. Let's take a look at this quickly. It's partial. It kind of starts in progress here.
closest to seeing the sun we could get. We were not allowed to interact with one another even during recreation, and that's in quotes, recreation. In our cells, we had to try shouting through the doors to communicate. And even then, the guards would forcefully hit the doors or talk over us very loudly so that we could not hear one another. Anytime we left our cells, we were always shackled. 3 guards would enter the cell, push us against the wall, pat us down, place chains on our hands before leading us out. They would do a pat-down search on us every time we showered. It was very hot inside the building during the day. There were lots of mosquitoes and the light was constantly on because we were not fed enough or allowed to do anything. We lost track of time. It felt like hell being isolated from the world and stuck in those conditions. The medical care available was grossly inadequate, which was frightening because if any of us had a serious medical issue, there would be no real help. I have a leg injury from a motorcycle accident that has not fully healed. I have an abscess in my gluteal muscles that has previously caused me significant pain, swelling, bleeding. I was previously told I needed surgery. When I was detained in El Paso, my injury was not bothering me so much because I was able to move freely, to stretch and walk around. But in Guantanamo, when I was held in a cell for 23 hours a day, my injury began to swell and become very painful. When I asked for treatment, they said they did not have the right tools to help me, and they were waiting for those tools. Later, after I asked again for treatment, they told me there was nothing they could do for me besides offer a topical cream, which was very frustrating because they had previously told me that they were waiting on appropriate tools to provide adequate treatment. In other words, they didn't give a fuck about his treatment. They were lying to him. The guards were needlessly cruel. When we asked for necessities, they would mock us or say that it was not possible. It took multiple requests before they returned the Bible I had brought with me. What do they need a Bible for? They're all going in the lake. I also repeatedly asked to speak with an ICE officer, but the military guards told me that ICE was not available and would come later. And I'm talking about the guards that get off on treating people like this. So what do they need the Bible for? Just holding it to be mean, huh? I even witnessed physical violence against other detainees. One man who we called El Enano was beaten by an officer for refusing to return a toothbrush. The officer hit him hard on his hand with a radio. I believe his hand was fractured, but I do not know if he received medical treatment. You ever hold one of those radios before? I've held them and worked with them. They're like a brick. If you smack someone's hand with that, yeah, you're going to break some bones, yeah. For 2 days after the incident with the radio, the guards would not give El Enano water to drink. Several times he asked for water, and I even asked the guards to give him water as well, but the guards would just laugh and refuse the request. There's descriptions in Scripture. Excuse me, my mouth is dry. Of people burning and begging for water. And they don't get any. I have a feeling that story is about these guards right here. Specifically. I was denied any communication with the outside world. I asked multiple times to speak with my attorney and my family. After my one phone call on February 17 with the ACLU, I knew I had attorneys working on my case and trying to help me, but I was told it was not possible to make a call. I also begged the officers to speak to my family. My wife lives in the United States with our 9-year-old son. I told the officers, you must have a family. Oh, they have families. That doesn't mean they're not sociopaths, though. That doesn't mean they can empathize with you. Because there's a certain culture that these people are part of. And from what I'm reading here, a lot of them get off on what they're doing. A lot of sociopaths go into corrections. Because you get to lord power over other people. And for some people, that's fun. Let's move on. This is Donnie. We have massive financial deficits with China, European Union, and many others. the only way this problem can be cured is with tariffs. Nope. Which are now bringing tens of billions of dollars into the USA. No, first of all, there was no problem. Donnie's grifting, and he's trying to, get a little censorship going where he, just totally changes everything, the currency, everything about our world. So none of this is true. He's not interested in the deficit, trade deficits, nothing. That's all bullshit. The surplus with these countries has grown during the presidency of Sleepy Joe Biden. We're going to reverse it, and reverse it quickly. Someday people will realize that tariffs for the United States of America are a very beautiful thing. Well, the last 2 times America tried it, the markets crashed. And now this time, the markets crashed. So, Donnie's arguing with you and I and everybody out there, and so is Nutlick and Brooke Haggard-Rollins and all these people. They're all arguing with us humans out here. Well, they need to be talking to the Dow, because the Dow says all these motherfuckers are abject liars and scammers. In other words, we humans don't have the problem. It's the motherfucking Dow that has the problem. You can't argue with the Dow, son, when it goes down 4,000. So all of you need to address your comments to the Dow Jones Industrial, including Donnie, because it seems the Dow has a problem with the Antichrist that you've elected and his tariff idea. Us humans that have the problem, we're just secondary. So why is Nutlick and Donnie Shitbags talking to us? Should be talking to the Dow Jones. And again, people, this may be the time it does not go back up. I know every other time, every other contrived recession, it went back up, right? I have a feeling this time it's not going to go back up. Again, this is different. Yes, you're going to World War III. Get mentally prepared. Yes, you're going to see market drops like you've never seen, and your wealth will disappear. Be prepared. Your businesses will take huge losses and lose trading partners. Be prepared. Our rights will go bye-bye. Be prepared. Especially when you have the literal White House account on Twitter, basically has become 4chan now. So they've got some, who knows, random human beings that they're deporting. And the White House account itself is saying, nah, 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 hey, hey, goodbye. The White House account. This is a real tweet from the White House of the United States of America. How is any of this shit even real? What a shithole country, indeed. What a shithole country. I don't know who any of these people are in this picture. I don't know if they're criminals. I don't know if they're illegal. I don't know anything. Yet we just post a picture of some human beings and we make fun of it and we say, aha, goodbye. Wouldn't it be funny if some of you ended up in that line? Because more groups are getting at it every day. They're grabbing kids out of schools even. You think you're too good for that line? You're not. So before you comment on something like this, I would really try and put yourself in these men's position. What if I end up in that line? What if I end up in Guantanamo or Bukele's demonic hell down in El Salvador? What do you think a Reich does, son? What do you think guys that throw up Nazi salutes believe? Eugenics. They don't give a fuck about you. So yeah, when you got the White House doing this, our country's over. We've got cretins. We've got the lowest common denominator of humanity in the White House right now. And this is the proof of it right here. Maybe you'll end up in that line one day. Think about it. By invoking a national economic emergency under IEEPA, Trump can now, and I believe Trump did do that, deploy the military domestically, suspend labor laws, freeze finances, expand warrantless searches, control domestic radio, social media, and broadcast networks. Pay attention. It's not just about tariffs. Indeed, just like the Guantanamo stuff and the Bukele death camp stuff, El Salvador, and all that, it's not just about illegal immigrants. A lot of these people came here legally. A lot of them didn't commit any crime. A lot of them, all they did was criticize Israel. And they got picked up. So yes, the opening of the door with the whole ICE immigration thing, that's aimed at you, son. That's coming to your doorstep. Again, I know you idiots don't know this. And you know who I'm talking to. The ones who put their name on stuff like this and are still shilling for it. I'll say it again. In an authoritarian Nazi Reich, anyone can be a target. Anyone can end up in the gas chamber. Anyone can end up picked up. Why? Because your neighbors, your children, your wife, your husband, your grandma, your ma, they could report you. Or maybe someone that doesn't like you. Maybe they'll report you. And again, maybe they'll just say like, yeah, I heard him say Donnie was a cunt the other day. My neighbor said that. Next thing you know, later that evening, yeah, your neighbor called us and said, you said Donald Trump was a cunt. Can you come with us? That's what happens in authoritarian regimes. Again, rubes. That's what's going to come knocking on your door one day. That's where all this is headed. And that's where they want it to go, whether you give a fuck about it or not. So when he does these emergency declarations over the economy, over immigration, that's to open the door to get to you. They always start off with groups no one cares about. And eventually, it gets to your group. The European Union agrees on a first set of countermeasures targeting $28 billion worth of U.S. imports. I'm sure that'll make our economy go up in a flash. Again, you got the Asian countries joining forces to tariff us and countermeasure us. You've got the European Union and Canada. Oh, it's going to get a lot uglier, son. Get ready. Get your mind right. Get your mind right for World War III, too, because I promise you that's coming. This the Antichrist, people. What do you think he's going to do? World War fucking III. Of course, it goes hand in hand with the beast. The U.S. normally has a total of 156,000 military personnel stationed overseas. Trump has suddenly doubled that number in just the Middle East. The Carl Vinson Carrier Group is relocating to the Red Sea, and half our active B-2 bombers are in Diego Garcia. He's going to bomb Iran. Yes, he will. All that equipment is also there for the things he wants to do in Israel. You've got several agendas. One, make sure Iran doesn't do shit, and we might actually attack them outright, offensively, just to send a message. Because again, Donnie and Hegseth and the boys, they want to take over the Suez. They want to take over that whole waterway leading up to Israel on the right, the Suez on the left that goes through Egypt. Very important canal for trade. Donnie wants to open that up via military force and extort Egypt and Europe to use the Suez. Also, the military buildup is also for Israel. Again, they're going to clear out the Gazans, and they're also going to be backup for Israel when they build the resort and the temple. because people are going to want to attack when that happens. That's why I told you there was going to be military forces moved there for these three things, and then they moved them there. So yes, World War III is coming. You don't mobilize these kind of troops, these kind of numbers, this kind of equipment. I read you the literal equipment they moved to Diego Garcia and the other planes and airmen that they moved to the Middle East. Big numbers, major pieces of equipment. Yes, you're going to see World War III as a result of you putting your name on the Antichrist. Sorry. So again, it's not just about Iran. Once that resort and the Gazans get cleared out and they start building a temple, well, who would strike them first? Probably Iran for everybody else. Iran probably has nukes or missiles that Russia gave them. They would strike Israel. Everyone knows this. I mean, even the most novice in politics, war strategy in the Middle East knows this. That the most likely attack would come from Iran. So bomb them in advance. Let the whole world know you best not fuck with us. Then Israel and America control the Suez, the Sinai. They get the Gazans out of there. And the American military helps out with Israel so no one attacks them while they're building the resort and the temple. Because there's going to be a lot of angry people in the Middle East. And think about how so many of you that cared about the Palestinian cause stayed home or voted for someone else. You helped make this happen. Pat yourself on the back. Now your cause, the Palestinians, over. Forget about it. Never going to happen. They're gone. They're going to get cleared out. Well done. You really care about your cause. But we all warned you. You knew better. Just like the Rubes knew better, just like the greedy at the top. Everybody knows better. I know. That's why you're going to lose everything. All you people that thought you knew better. So again, after the arrival of new reinforcements, the total number of U.S. forces in the Middle East has now reached 300,000 personnel, including both combat and administrative units. 300,000 personnel. Does that sound like we're not going to war? $200 million liquidated from the cryptocurrency market in the past 60 minutes. $200 million. I thought crypto was doing better. I think some crypto is doing better, but Bitcoin itself, I think, is way down. Oh, yeah, I read this to you weeks ago. When did little Eric post this? January 26, 2025. So this was very early in after the inauguration. Everybody was hype. Idiot mongoloids like Eric were running their mouth for their daddy because they think they're in charge, even though they've never done anything in their life. They're just riding their daddy's coattails. So Eric had a few too many cognacs one night, and he got a little uppity, and he thought he was his daddy for a few minutes. And he gave the whole motherfucking game away. And I read it to you at the time. But Eric has since deleted this. So someone posted it again. And you need to hear this. Because again, I want you to know what you're really dealing with. This is what you're dealing with. Any and all who dare to defy the American Golden Age, heed this warning. You will lose. Toe the line or we will run you down. This is the Mongoloid saying this. The gloves are off and we're not playing around this time. For now, it's tariffs. But trust me, we can and will do so much worse. That's in all caps, that end part. So much worse. These are the type of people you are dealing with. Eric don't even have the authority. He's just an idiot child. And listen to how he's talking. He's talking as if he's the one pushing the button. In other words, Eric got a few too many cognacs. And he thought he could speak for his daddy. And he gave the whole game away. Eric heard this from his family members, from other people in government now. They all know what's up. Nutlick, Besant, Eric, Don Jr., all of them know what's up. Eric wouldn't be saying, we will do so much worse in all caps. A little child speaking for his daddy as if he were king. To the point he had to take the comment down because it gives too much of the game away, doesn't it? And again, this was January 26th. What did he get inaugurated? January 20? Something like that? 6 days in. Making threats to the entire world. And guess who else falls under the umbrella of those threats? Me and you. All of us. Again, these are evil people destined for the lake, I promise you. Their only thoughts are what evil they can do, what they can steal from you. That's it. And this comment is the evidence. That's why I read things like this. That's why I read you a deleted comment by the mongoloid son of Donald Trump. Because it gives the game away. For all you people that are, going to give these people the benefit of the doubt, don't ever do that, ever. We talking about the Antichrist, his family, Leon, the false prophet. And you're going to give them the benefit of the doubt? Leon's the Nazi salute guy, remember? We going to give that the benefit of the doubt? Really? We can and will do so much worse. That stupid little child is destined for the lake. And he'll learn the definition of worse. When he's on the banks of the lake, he'll truly understand what worse is. Here's Donnie. I don't get this. What the hell Donnie's doing here? He's so chicken shit to come out. It's like he's hiding in a closet on his plane, and he stands like behind the frame of the door, as if he's ready to slam the door in the reporter's face. And several of these clips from today, the plane's like experiencing turbulence. Donnie's like holding on the thing, and the camera's fucking shaking. I mean, fucking absurdity. Can't just sit down like a normal fucking human, probably because he has a load of shit in his pants, and do an interview. No, he's got to stand by the door so he can close it in their face the second, the questions get too hot. It's so fucking weird. And then again, the Chopper press conferences where, he's pretending he's some commander in a Rambo movie. It's just, for some normalcy, what I would give for that. For Donnie to sit down like a normal human being in the morning and give a normal press conference without a helicopter going in, 5 feet away. And, idiot fucking holding the door jam as the plane's experiencing fucking turbulence. Answering questions. It's so ridiculous. First of all, he shouldn't be on the motherfucking plane. He should be on the White House, or at the White House. When the Dow is down 4,000, that's where the president should be. But again, they're intentionally ruining it, and Donnie's hiding right now, hardly answering any questions. Here's a reporter. Is there pain in the market at some point you're unwilling to tolerate? Trump. I think your question is so stupid. I don't want anything to go down, but sometimes you have to take medicine to fix something. No. Notice Nutlick, Donnie, Leon, and others. They're not taking no medicine. They're not on the operating table. You and I are. All the peasants out here.
And when Donnie says he doesn't want anything to go down, no, he did this on purpose. Again, he's got to crash it. He's got to get you on Donnie coin. That's the agenda. So he crashed it on purpose. He knew it was going to go down. That's your retirement savings. Yes, he did that on purpose to you, in furtherance of the Reich and grift. And again, it's so to get you people in a vulnerable fucking position so they can come in and save the day with the Donnie coin and the mark. But right away, Donnie's saying, your question is so stupid. I mean, and another thing, to have an actual adult in the White House would be so nice. Who doesn't say reporters' questions are stupid. Who doesn't get all pissed when a reporter asks a legit question. Again, rubes. The Dow is down 4,000. That's a perfectly legitimate question. When you going to do something, Donnie? When's the pain going to matter to you? Oh, I don't want anything to go down. Always go with the opposite of what Donnie says. That means he did want it to go down. And he did it intentionally. That's what that means. Unbelievable. It's fascinating to watch so many human beings take part and advocate for their own ruin and their children's ruin and the ruin of their country and their world. They advocate for it. Even now. My God, the brainwashing. Trump says here's another one of those turbulent-ridden, in the closet, plain closet interview. Trump says he wants to send Americans to gulags in El Salvador. I love that. If we could take some of our 20-time wise guys that push people into subways, if he would take them, I would be honored to give them. I don't know what the law says on that. I'm all for it, as if Donnie cares what the law says on that. Yeah, we've talked about this a while ago. Bukele, the demon down in El Salvador, said he'll take regular American criminals, citizens. Son, do you hear me? Maybe you do something next week. Maybe you get a little prison sentence. Guess where you might be going? El Salvador. Depending on Donnie and ICE's mood that day. He's saying it. Oh, yeah, I'd love to ship American criminals down there. Evil, pure evil. That's what you're taking part in. And you've been warned by me and many other people throughout the years, and that will be held against you. That you heard the warnings, you saw the rapes, abominations, scams, grifts, lies, thefts, and you said, I like it. That's going to be held against you. Japanese stock futures trading was suspended Monday morning local time due to a circuit breaker. This comes as the Dow Jones and S&P 500 futures fell 4%, each amid fears of a Black Monday on April 7th. In early trade in Tokyo, the Nikkei 225 was off 7.35%, adding to a 2.75 drop on Friday. While in Seoul, the Kospi was off 4.8%. What is a circuit breaker? Automatic programming into the market in certain markets that where if you lose a certain amount of value in that market in a short span of time, it trips an algorithm that just shuts everything down for 15 minutes. I can't remember. It depends on the market. And eventually, if it keeps getting worse, it'll shut trading down for the rest of the day. Again, what does a circuit breaker mean? Let's read the actual definition. The suspension of Japanese stock futures trading due to a circuit breaker indicates that the market has experienced a significant price movement
either a sharp decline or a rapid rise, triggering an automatic mechanism designed to halt trading temporarily. This is a regulatory measure used by stock exchanges such as the Japan Exchange Group, which oversees the Tokyo Stock Exchange. And this is the Dow, what you're going to see tomorrow. Well, what we're seeing right now, it lost 1,700 points on Thursday. It lost 2,200 on Friday. Now we've got the pre-market or after-market heading into Monday, another 1,500 down to start. In other words, you're going to wake up at 9 a.m. or whenever the stock market opens. Is it 9 or 9:15? I don't remember. And you're going to see it automatically down 1,500 to start with. That's on top of the 22. That's on top of the 17. Again, Dow Jones Industrial Average Futures fell 1,531 points or 4% Sunday evening, pointing to another brutal session ahead on Monday. S&P 500 futures shed 4%. NASDAQ 100 futures lost 4%. What's Donnie doing? Oh, he's on his plane that you're paying for, standing in the closet, telling reporters they're stupid and they ask stupid questions. When the market's about to go down another 1,500 at opening sun. Oh, here's Trump on the plane. I have a very low handicap. He's talking about golf. You know, the golf sessions you pay for at his own club so he can just pocket the money. That's what Donnie's thinking about, bragging about his handicap when he cheats at golf. And he always cheats at golf. As you're losing your retirement savings. When asked by a reporter if he's using tariffs as a negotiating ploy, Trump snaps at the reporter and says she's asking too many questions. Trump won't even be direct with the American people about the harm and chaos his policies are causing. Indeed, what is this all snapping at reporters? Again, I told you, the facade will drop more and more by the day, and they'll just start to flat out state the things they're doing, and you'll be cool with it. Like, you know, shipping innocent men down to El Salvador to rot for the rest of their life in a death camp. They're saying all that out loud right in front of your face. They're saying, we made a mistake sending him, and they're laughing as he's rotting away, and so's Bukele, and so are you. You're walking away okay with no due process for people, and then they get shipped to a country they're not even from, to a death camp. That's what you have your name on, child. I wouldn't want to be you. So the facade will drop more and more, and they will outright just state the evil, and you'll walk away okay with it because you have to, because it's on your team, right? You can tell that to the man when you're standing before him. Well, I know he was the Antichrist God, but he had an R next to his name. What, am I supposed to vote for a liberal? That'd be evil. The hand of evil. You, the personification of evil. The one who put their name on the GOP for 40 years. You, literally being the hand of Satan, calling liberals evil. The irony of that, son. The one, you, who puts their name on the Antichrist 3 times, would dare lecture others on what's Christian, right, good, patriotic. And you would point to the liberal and say they're evil. Meanwhile, you're the literal hand of Satan. You ushered in the era, the reign of the Antichrist. What a fucking contradiction and irony your existence is. And again, son, I would not want to have to explain to the man why I put my name on the Antichrist 3 fucking times. Oh, that's gonna be ugly. Never forget that they sent a guy to Guantanamo Bay whose only criminal arrest in his life was for riding a bicycle on the wrong side of the road. They said everyone sent there was the worst of the worst. You remember that? I did a video about that. I talked about how they said that every single person being shipped out of the country to El Salvador, we're only going to send the worst of the worst. And all the rubes and the rest of us, we walked away okay with that. But I knew that you can label anyone the worst of the worst. No due process, just Donnie and Bondi say they're the worst of the worst, and that's it? Well, that could be you too, son. And don't worry, it will be. Some of you. And then we find out, and I knew we would, that they're not all the worst of the worst. In fact, some of them shouldn't even have been sent down there, and the government even admits that. And then they say, oh, well, we made a deal with Bukele that, they get to keep the slaves the rest of their lives. They didn't say that, but that's kind of what they're indicating, isn't it? And there's an actual copy of the failure to keep bicycle on the right side of the roadway. Boy, I'm really glad we sent that guy down to that death camp. I feel safer already. It's funny, the convicted felon is the one you voted for and in the White House right now. This guy's less of a criminal than the guy you voted for. Again, your life is such a contradiction and an irony. Such hypocrisy as well. I know you don't really know the meaning of that word. You personify it, though. Your very existence is hypocrisy, don't worry. And you do it so well, so many of you. Donnie in the closet, on the plane again. What's that, the shitter, just in case, the diaper starts leaking? Is that why he does that? Or is it to contain the shit smell of the diaper, I wonder? Who knows? Reporter, how concerned are you about the measles outbreak? There was another fatality today. Donnie's on it. He's on the plane. He's golfing. He's all about the measles. Well, I think they're doing reports on it. It's so far a fairly small number of people. It's something people have known about for many, many years. We'll see what happens. Wow, that's a really great answer for the person you elected as president of the United States. How pathetic and sad that is for the rest of us. And these are the types of answers we get as the market's down 4,000, as all Donnie can think of is golf. He doesn't know shit about the measles. He has no clue how many cases there are, even though he's president. And he just, again, does what Donnie always does. Says 4 or 5 sentences of pure vagary, basically indicating he has no clue what the fuck he's doing or talking about. That's what we got. A well-respected MMA coach who always posts training tips and is based out of Australia says he arrived in the U.S. for an already scheduled seminar, but was detained at the border, thrown in a federal prison, and ultimately deported. If you are from a foreign country, do not come here right now. You do not want this experience. They got to have numbers. They have quotas. They need numbers to show the rubes. And the rubes don't care if you're innocent or guilty. They just care about numbers. They're idiots. I'm surprised they don't eat mud. They're so stupid. So all they care about is numbers. They don't give a fuck who's innocent or guilty until their bitch ass is on the plane. That's when they'll care who's innocent or guilty. Right now, though, they don't give a fuck about that. So I'm advising any foreigner that wants to come here for a vacation, a meeting, business, stay the fuck where you're at. Trust me. Don't subject yourself to this. It's not worth it to come here. I've never been to Canada, but I've seen some of it via video. It's gorgeous. I've been to Europe. There's other places to go, people. You don't need to come here. There ain't jack shit here, but a lot of McDonald's and Targets. That's all we got. Don't waste your time. Don't subject yourself to this indignity.
because there's a Reich in charge, and everyone wants all the ICE agents and the entry people at the airports. They all want to impress the Reich. You know what I mean? So you may be fodder one day. So some, I don't know, $35,000 a year cunt in an office in an airport can impress the Reich. You don't want to go through that. You don't want to go to a prison when you're just trying to come to an MMA event and give some lessons. You know what I mean? And I saw a woman from Germany that went through this. I saw a woman from Canada. Again, it's not just brown-skinned Mexicans that are getting persecuted. So you should be able to see where this is going. It's going to come again to all our doorsteps. We'll all be persecuted by the Reich. Whether you voted for it or not, how many of you already lost your jobs or got laid off as a result of Donnie's tariffs already? 2 major companies have already laid off hundreds of people. So let's read about what the MMA guy went through. There's some text here. Coach Sabotic from seminar to sell my 24 hours in a U.S. federal prison, arrested for too much knowledge in MMA. I arrived in America excited, ready to coach my seminar. It was supposed to be a great trip. Instead, I got stopped at the border. Immigration pulled me aside and took me into an isolated room. The officer interviewing me looked like he was looking for something wrong. I bet he was. It was obvious why I was in the U.S. I gave them every specific detail about my seminar, my plans, everything. Can I hold on for a second and tell a story? When I went to London years ago, I had a wad of cash. I had a plane ticket home already booked in advance and 1 suitcase with me. The guy, they're so anti-immigration in London even back then. They're so freaked out that the guy asked me what I did for a living. I lied. I said I was a musician. I didn't care whether he knew what I did for a living. So he starts asking me, "Are you coming here to work? Do you have instruments?" I'm like, motherfucker, do you see what I got, right? There's a fucking suitcase. I didn't talk to him like this, but there's a suitcase there, man. Oh, well, how are you going to get into London? I see your hotel's over here. How are you going to get into London? Well, I was actually in London in the hotel, but it was like the outskirts. So I didn't give him this answer, but I thought to myself, you never heard of a cab, asshole? So I showed him my wad of cash, my plane ticket home. I still got harassed for 30 minutes. By a cunt. A fat cunt, too. And was I a bad guy? No. I was a guy that came there for a vacation for a week. Hotel booked, return flight booked, etc. Now this is a whole nother thing. This the Reich on top of this, even worse. So it was obvious why I was in the U.S. I gave them every specific detail about my seminar, my plans, everything. Oh, he asked me if I had any gigs booked or anything. I'm like, no, nothing booked. I have no instruments. You see what I got, jerk off, right? Anyway, back to this. They kept me in the room for 3 hours asking endless questions. I was collaborative or cooperative. I guess that's what he means. So already start off where he's interrogated. He's being looked over. He's in a room for 3 hours. So that's the indignity just at the beginning you may have to go through if you're from Britain, Australia, Canada, Germany, wherever. I'm telling you, do not come here. Be smart for once in your life. Cancel the American vacation if you booked it. Trust me. It will go much better for you if you do. Write us off. I'm telling you, write us the fuck off. It's over. This isn't a vacation destination anymore. This is a potential, you may end up in El Salvador, son. These are Satanist Nazis in charge, complete with Sieg Heils, brown shirts, and death camps. Don't come here. They told me there was a mistake with my visa and that they were taking me to jail until they figure out what's next. Just like that. No clear explanation, no chance to talk to anyone, no rights. They handcuffed me, put me in a car, and drove me to federal prison. That's after sitting in the room for 3 hours. Doesn't sound like a minor inconvenience, does it?
They stripped me of everything, took my clothes, gave me jail clothes, fingerprinted me, took photos, searched me, gave me a blanket and sheet. Then they walked me to block 4B. The moment the door opened, it was chaos. Are you man enough for this? No, none of you are. You'd all be shitting your pants. Fights between gangs, people screaming, arguing over food, what to watch on TV, crazy people running around, madness. The guard walked me to cell 221 where there was a filthy mattress with patches of piss and blood. Evil. Evil. That's what you have your name on. The guard told me to hurry up so I could get some food. I dropped my stuff and went downstairs. While I was in line, 4 guys started beating the hell out of another guy, smashing his head into the fence. I wasn't even hungry. I just grabbed an apple, ate it, and walked straight back to my cell. When I got back, 2 Mexican guys were in there stealing my blanket and sheet. I said, "Hey, bro, what are you doing?" One of them replied, "Getting my stuff." I said, "That's my stuff." And he looked at me and said, "What are you going to do about it?" We had a fight. I got my stuff back. Well, this is an MMA guy who knows how to fight. You don't. Remember that. This is a separate piece. I said, "Yes," he replied. "At 8:30 we pray in the basketball court. Join us." Later, one of the gang leaders approached me. "Hey, fighter, what's your name?" "Renato." He nodded. "They told me you're Christian. You're joining us for prayer?" "Yes." Jesus always has his way of putting people together. Soon after, I went to the yard where people were training. The Samoan fighter nodded at me and said, "Are you the fighter?" I said I was. "Now I'm a coach." He looked at me. "I know you. I've watched your videos. I can't believe you're here." I replied, "Trust me, I can't either." More people started approaching me, asking the same thing. "Why are you here? How long are you staying?" I noticed the phones downstairs, so I asked some of the inmates, "How can I call my family to tell them what's going on?" They told me, "You can't. You have to wait 3 days to get your number." It's another piece. The other one ran out of the cell screaming. The people in the nearby cells came to watch what was going on. When the guards rushed up, no one said anything. The guard looked at me and said, "You got a good welcome. Keep your head straight or you're going to stay here longer." He's talking about the other Mexican that tried to steal his blanket and pillow, ran out of the cell screaming. After this MMA teacher beat the fuck out of the first Mexican. Lucky for him, he has fighting skills. Most of us don't, though, do we? And 5 seconds after he got there and they gave him a blanket and pillow, it was already stolen from him. And if he didn't know how to whoop ass, he'd be sleeping with no blanket, no pillow. And he'd just be another punk in the yard that they can take advantage of. This could have went a lot worse if this guy wasn't a respected fighter. It probably wouldn't have went so well for you. Again, don't come here. It will not go well for some of you. You're going to have to go through this. Why? Because the more people they throw in a prison for 3-4 days, a week, 2 weeks, they charge the government for that. That's why. You're nothing but a paycheck for those scumbags. When you're just trying to come in the country to do whatever, do some business, visit, whatever, you have some little technical weird thing wrong with your visa, next thing you know, you're in a fucking maximum security prison with gang fights and people stealing the one thing you have within 5 seconds. That's what prison's like. What do you think happens to those guys down in El Salvador? You think you could handle that? No, you couldn't. So I wouldn't be laughing at this. I wouldn't be shilling for it. Because you're shilling for evil. That's all I read to you right there. Might as well have been one word. Evil. Spread down from the top, starting with Satan, Donnie, and Leon. Pure fucking evil. And they showing you that. Reporter, the president of El Salvador said he would be willing to take American citizens in federal prison population. In other words, American criminals. Donnie says, I love that. And then he went into that long rant about how he'd like to ship the people that push people into subway tracks. Donnie don't care about none of that. But again, this was the president of El Salvador said this when he first floated the idea. Hey, you can use my prison camp, my death camp down here. We got one all ready to go for the right price, of course. Again, $6 million of your tax money for 1 year for all these people they're shipping down there. And it appears they can't get none of them back. It appears the deal is once you're there, you ain't ever coming home. Evil, pure evil. There's Donnie again in the closet on the plane. I spoke to a lot of leaders, European, Asian, from all over the world. They are dying to make a deal, but I said, we're not going to have deficits with your country. To me, a deficit is a loss. We're going to have surpluses, or at worst, we're going to be breaking even. No. Again, do you rubes realize what's going on here? They're worried about the deficit, trade deficits, all that, and recovering 10 trillion when they just cost the stock market 11 trillion. Do you understand? In other words, the money they're trying to raise and the goal they're trying to meet, they've already took more than that from the stock market. Doesn't make sense, does it? Talking about all this money we're going to make from other countries when you just cost us 11 trillion. You ain't saving nothing. You ain't added nothing. That's not a surplus. We still at deficit. As far as what is gained and what is lost. Oh, here's haggard-ass Brooke Rollins again. Jake Tapper, conservative economists at AEI, say that when Trump administration came up with your tariff rates, you mixed up import prices and retail prices, and the entire computation is wrong. Brooke Rollins, this is what she's getting your tax money for. You ready? I have not read that. Tapper says I'd ask you to check it out. Why don't you check it out? So that's how much she's worth. She hasn't read it. Even the Amish hate Donnie. And the Amish are asking you a question. I'm not asking you the question. The Amish are. And the question is, so you elected a rapist twice? Christians? Church-going folk? Bible Belt people? Patriots? Justin TD Ameritrade just sent out a circuit breaker warning to all clients. CMA Group U.S. equity futures markets are coordinated with stock circuit breakers at market 7%, 13%, 20%. The 7% and 13% circuit breakers are each followed by 15-minute trading halts. If the 20% level is reached, the market closes for the trading day. After 3:25 Eastern, markets will not halt unless the 20% level is reached. Just like I explained earlier. Oh, here's Bondi. Another cunt destined for the lake. That's the lake of fire. Again, look it up. In the Bible, go to Revelation, look up the lake of fire. Bream, I guess that's the reporter. Wouldn't it be helpful in making your case to show what you have explaining these allegations? Miss Bondi says, members of ICE have testified that he is an MS-13 gang member. We have to rely on what ICE says. We have to rely on what Homeland Security says. No, we have to rely on what a judge says. That's called due fucking process. A cop can say anyone's guilty. I've had cops lie about me as I'm bleeding on the ground. Because, painting me into some kind of liar for some fucking flatfoot pig
was more important than just writing down the facts as I bled on the ground. Miss Bondi is either talking about the gay barber that was sent down there that shouldn't have been sent down there, or the other gentleman that we talked about a minute ago. And what Miss Bondi is saying, well, the authorities said he's guilty, so he's got to be guilty. I'm going to trust them. No, son, I trust due process. I don't trust Miss Bondi as far as I could kick her or anyone that works for her or any ICE agent. I do somewhat trust due process. And that's the part they just skipped right over. They're just grabbing people and shipping them down there. Judges are telling them, you got to bring them back. They're saying, fuck you, we can't. Sorry, the deal's for life. And again, you rubes walk away okay with that. Trust me, you won't be okay when you're the one on the plane. And don't worry, some of you will be on the plane. Jake Tapper with Haggard Brooke Rollins again. The European Union don't take as much as American pork. Don't take as much American pork. They have issues with hormones used in pork. It's not an issue about tariffs. Indeed, Europe doesn't want our shitty meat shot full of steroids and antibiotics and God knows what else. Roundup used on the crops. That's all being taken in by the animals. Europe doesn't want that. They don't want our garbage American food. Listen to what Brooke says. No, this is really important. Here's the bottom line. They are using fake science and unsubstantiated claims to not take our products. Again, another pure vagary, utterly worthless. She's a complete waste of oxygen. That's naught but a talking point, no basis in reality. I've known this for years, haven't you? That Europe doesn't want our shitty meat. Why? Because in America, everything's about bigger, so we pump the animals full of steroids. And God knows what else. And again, then they're eating crops that have been sprayed with Roundup. And we all take that in. That's why Europe doesn't want our garbage food, okay? Rubes? Has nothing to do with tariffs. And Brooke just told a flat-out lie, a straight-up talking point, with no specifics, facts, anything. But that's haggard-ass Brooke Rollins. Let me light another ciggy and then I'll read the next thing. We're almost done. We're almost done. A reminder, the Trump administration has revealed no details of the pact with El Salvador. Indeed, we all go about our business and the Rubes say, yeah, lock them up. No details. We have no idea who's on these planes, who's in this prison in El Salvador. And even when we know, and the government admits that, yeah, we sent this one guy down there and we shouldn't have, they advocate zealously to keep him down there when the judge tells them to bring the guy back. Because I have a feeling, again, Donnie made the deal with Bukele, permanent deals. You don't get these people back. I get to use them as slaves, just like the private prison industry does here. We literally know nothing about it, other than we're paying them $6 million. Indeed, we know nothing. All we heard was the worst of the worst are going to get sent to El Salvador, and we all just went about our business. No law in the United States authorizes us to pay another country to imprison people, and yet they're doing it. Again, imagine the nightmare. You're in a country you can't even speak the fucking language, son. And they intentionally shipped you there. How far are you away from anyone that knows you or gives a fuck about you? Imagine going through that. And I don't care if you came here illegally. At least ship the people back to the country they're from, for fuck's sake. But that's not the point. Evil and cruelty is the point. For you have elected the Antichrist, and your name's still on him. Here are all the markets that hit circuit breakers today so far. China, Taiwan, Japan, Russell Futures, Australia, Singapore. Going great, Rubes, right? Wait till you see this drop today. Wait till you see how much your 401k and your retirement account loses. It's going to be beautiful. You're going to be so happy you voted for Donnie. Here's a shill. You better be right with your tariffs. You just cost the middle class trillions and have added a couple of years of extra work for people like me in our late 50s before we can retire. Still love your policies, but again, you better be right on this one. Well, guess what, Rubes? He's not right on this one. And he wants you to lose your money. And he wants the market to tank. I told you they have to crash it. I told you this over a month ago to get us on the crypto. It's going to happen. I promise you. So this person, here's another one who's an obvious Trump supporter or shill pretending to be one. And there's always this line in the person that loses their government job or whatever, whoever gets fucked over by the Reich, even though they voted for the Reich. Still love your policies, but you better be right on this one. In other words, I still love you, all this chaos, division, and evil and theft that's going on. And I've lost a little bit, but I'm still down with the cult. I'm still down with the Reich. Because I wouldn't want to insult you guys. You might come after me and put me in front of a firing squad or something. That's where this person's at, and that's where all you MAGAs at that I've seen. During your recent conversions where you want us all to rally around you even after you ushered in the apocalypse. And you laughed about it. Now you want the GoFundMes, you want the people that act the decent people to give a fuck about you. When you didn't give a fuck about anyone and you didn't give a fuck about the decent people. You all have a sentence just like this, or you speak a sentence just like this. Still love your policies, but you better be right on this one. If only you would have an honest conversion. And here's Biden again. He tried to warn you. He even got up at a podium and said it out loud. I fear an oligarchy's forming. You know, the evil Joe Biden. He tried to warn you on the way out, and you know what happens to presidents that give warnings like that? They get assassinated. Biden knew that before he spoke the words, but he spoke them anyway. Did Donnie warn you? Did Leon warn you? Nope, they just told you you're going to experience some pain, and we're going to fire everybody. You didn't hear none of that, though. The devil just had blinders over you and the brainwashing. Or the greed, because I know a lot of you rubes out there, you think you're going to be part of that elite class one day. No, you'll never be part of it, son. Sorry. It's not how it works. 60 Minutes could find no criminal records for 75% of the Venezuelans that the U.S. sent to a notorious mega prison in El Salvador. Again, they told us it was the worst of the worst. Remember that? I knew that was a lie immediately. And I knew they could label any one of you rubes as the worst of the worst. Or me. No one cares. Obviously, and here we find out the truth, that's 75%. We can't find criminal records. Yet they're in El Salvador. Again, this is a Reich. This is evil. And you got your name all the fuck up in it. Trump administration deports gay makeup artist to prison in El Salvador. A gay man with no known criminal record sought asylum in the U.S. He's since become one of 238 Venezuelans. And then it continues. Shipped to El Salvador, I assume that's what they're going to say. And here, there's a picture of him having his head shaved. I mean, you'd be cool with all this, right? It'd be no big deal. You'd still love Donnie's policies, right? You'd be cool with having your head shaved in a death camp in El Salvador, right? Until they clear it up. Oh, wait a minute, it never gets cleared up because the Trump administration already admitted they sent one person down there and they shouldn't have. And then when the court said, well, you got to bring him back, we can't. We don't control El Salvador. We can fly him down. We just can't fly him back. Evil, what you're seeing. Evil. You have your name on it. I hope you take your name off it. For your sake, again, I got jack shit out of it, son. Shouldn't even be here. Shouldn't even be giving you people the benefit of anything I know. I should be doing what most people would do, just party it up till the end. And not give a fuck about any of you. Because honestly, how many are going to listen? 5? But I guess 5 are worth it. If 1's even worth it. In the eyes of God. 5 worst stock market crashes in U.S. history. 1929, Hoover. One of the worst fucking jerk-off presidents we've ever had was Herbert Hoover. My God. 1987, Reagan. You know, the ones you guys hold up as the Jesus of the Republican Party. No, he wasn't the Jesus of jack shit. 2008, Bush. 2020, Trump. 2025, Trump. Notice a pattern there? All Republicans. Because the pattern throughout history is the Democrats come in and clean the mess that the babies left. You know, they shit all over the floor, run the credit card up. Because they know the Democrats are coming in anyway. And, you know, Clinton, Obama, Biden, they just have to clean up after the children. That's all. Every time they come in. Unfortunately for us, there's not going to be any cleaning up this one. The only one that can clean it up will come at the very end after we've all suffered very, very much. I might be dead by then. I probably will be dead. I guarantee I'll be dead by then. But it'll still be a great moment for everybody. That's not a scumbag. That's not a sociopath. That didn't put their name on this. That didn't take the mark. That didn't gather at the battlefield. That didn't, work in cahoots with the Antichrist. Anyway, this is an actual 401k or investment account statement via Victoria Rodham Hess. People are losing their life savings and Trump is golfing. This is what it looks like. Doesn't have a name on it. So let's see what it says. Beginning balance on 1/1/2025. $122,000. Contributions, $3,000. Interest and dividends, $50. Withdrawals, debits, nothing. Gains and losses, $52,431 is the loss. I imagine most of that loss, if not all of it, came on Thursday and Friday. Remember George Bush Jr., what happened to your 401ks? I remember an old security guard talking to me. He was really scared. Say, I lost half my retirement, man. I've been saving this money my whole life. I said, that's fucking horrible. Luckily for him, over time, it came back up, but he looked like he was about ready to retire. What if you are ready to retire and you got your shit all set up nice? Then the Antichrist comes along and you lose almost half its value in 2 fucking days after a lifetime. That happened to people in 2008. And the same thing's happening now. And a lot of you, this is what really disgusted me. And this is the true state of the world. And it's always been this way. Now we're just in the maximum expression of it. You do the right thing your whole life. You slave away. You take care of your family. You save for retirement. You put your whole self into that. You did all the right things. You were responsible. You didn't go to the parties. You didn't go to the concerts. You worked. You fought through the fucking abject misery that working any job is. Even the ones that lie and say they like what they're doing for a living. They don't. So you go through all that. and you get in your late 50s or early 60s and you watch some cunt like George Bush, the moron Jr., come in and ruin your shit overnight by half. Then you get the orange cunt, who is the literal antichrist and literally wants to cause damage to you. And you've done all the right things again. Almost half gone in 2 days. And there's going to be more gone today of your 401k. A lot more. So it lost 52,000. It doesn't say exactly when that loss took place, but I imagine it took place on Thursday and Friday. Ending balance on April 3rd, 2025, $72,000. Well, they started off with $122,000 in January. What happened since then? I wonder what took place. What could have changed the context of everything and taken it to the dark side where everything just goes right into the fucking shitter? What could have... Oh! The Antichrist was inaugurated on the 20th because of you people. And you voted for it. And I bet this person with the 122,000, I bet they voted for it. Because they got money in the market. Well, their 122 is now worth 72, and it's going down more today. And it might never come back. Again, this is the different time, people. They don't want it to come back. And Donnie seems perfectly content on hiding from the press every day. And just when they ask him a question about, you losing all your money, he'll just get mad and call it a stupid question and go back in his closet so he can get his shitty diaper changed. So this person lost almost half of their 401k in 2 days. Or their investment account, whatever you want to call it. And, this is what we have to look forward to. Get ready for it. And yes, they want this, by the way. And again, I know you've heard that by Alex Jones. And they want this. They're going to do this. No, now you're in the real time. Again, I'm not selling snake oil here. I don't have a 1 billion defamation judgment against me. And I don't weigh 300 pounds. This is what's coming. And they want it to come. Leon, Donnie, Nutlick, etc. And they're going to act all indignant and uppity when you ask them about it. As you lose fucking everything. And they laugh about it. I was going to show you a photo of Miss Levitt smiling the biggest smile I've ever seen since she got her nose job. Holding a Louis Vuitton bag. That's worth, I forget, 14,000, something like that. And she's taking a selfie of herself with the bag as you're losing half your 401k. These are the types of people you're dealing with. Evil. And this will be the result. I promise you. And they want that result. That's the goal. Sorry, I'm a little behind. Was it DEI or a trans athlete that crashed the stock market? Yes, suddenly when you lose half your 401k or all of it, right, Roops? Suddenly DEI and trans athletes won't be so important, will they? I have a feeling that won't even matter to you. And you'll realize all the dumb shit you cared about for so many years that did nothing to help your life or mine was a waste of your time. And you got played like a fool with worthless phrases involving culture wars, worthless acronyms like DEI, everything. You call everything DEI. Do you even know what it stands for? Do you know what it means? Do you know why it's necessary? So yeah, answer the question, Roops. Was it a DEI hire or was it a trans athlete that just tanked the market 4,000 points and tanked it another 1,500 at opening on Monday?
Trump is getting his massive military parade expected to cost tens of millions set for June 14th in D.C. Yes, that's just what we need. Russian-style, Chinese-style, fascist-style military parades where we waste money on fuel and men and all that. Again, I thought Doge and Donnie, it was all about saving every penny for the American people. No, it was never about that. Donnie running the credit card up like, it's his Bloomingdale's card. Remember, Donnie wanted to raise the debt ceiling to infinity right before he took office. You remember that? That gave the game away, Rubes. That means he never wanted to save any money. He just wanted to spend your money like he does every weekend when he goes golf. This week, 4-day weekend, as the market tanked 4,000 points. You paid for that at his own club. Put the money right in his pocket. Again, no one gets over on you, Rubes. You're way too smart for that. The European Union has agreed to impose tariffs on $28 billion worth of U.S. imports as a countermeasure to the Trump regime's tariffs. That's great news, isn't it, Rubes? Bill Ackman warns Trump to call a timeout on trade war. This is not what we voted for. So Bill's admitting he voted for the tax cuts, as every single one of you trading people did that are involved in the market. You know who you are. You all did it. And then you all say things like, when Leon's concerned, when the market loses 6,000 in 3 days, all of a sudden you saying this is not what we voted for. No, son. Again, did you hear what I said in the beginning of the video? You saw Donnie institute the tariffs in the first regime, right? His first term. You forgot about that? He said he was going to do it again. Leon and Donnie said they were going to fire everybody too before they took office. Now I keep hearing, and when Leon's name comes, we didn't vote for Leon. Yes, you did, and you knew it. Stop lying. Stop trying to rally people around you when you could care less about anyone but yourself. You're a liar. You knew Leon was part of the deal. You knew the brainworm guy was part of the deal. You knew tariffs was part of the deal. You knew tax cuts for the rich was part of the deal. You knew mass roundups were part of the deal. You knew it all, and you loved it. So did Mr. Ackman. So fuck him. This is not what we voted for. Stop telling that lie, you fucking liars. You knew it was a package deal with Leon and Donnie. You knew the tariffs were coming. You knew the tax cuts for rich people were coming. You knew the roundups were coming. You loved it. Now, reap the fucking whirlwind. And that whirlwind will be driven by the Anticristo right to your fucking door. You wanted it. You begged for it. You still continue to shill for it. You got it. Enjoy. Well, there goes Bitcoin. So even that's all fucked up with Donnie's moves. Here's Brooke the Hag Rollins again. There was a moment on Thursday you were on Fox Business praising Trump's leadership, celebrating these tariffs, and all the graphics surrounding you showed the markets in a nosedive. Again, I showed you that picture. Literally, as this cunt is denying reality on camera in front of you as your retirement savings is evaporating. This ticker was right next to her. As she's saying, it's all great, it's all wonderful. We're watching in real time as she spouts her propaganda. As all she was hired to be, she knows nothing, she's worthless, she's a waste of unqualified oxygen. All she does is spout the talking points and try and keep you calm while they steal everything from you. So she's spouting the propaganda because she's naught but a mouthpiece for sociopathy. That's why she was hired. As she's spouting her propaganda, that ticker was right next to her picture or her image on the screen. And the market's just nosediving as this propaganda cunt is saying everything's great. Don't worry about it. That's your reality now.
while literally the ticker's next to the propagandist, the member of the Reich. Because her qualifications of abject evil were right. As they're saying, denying reality, inverting reality. The ticker's showing you reality. That's where we're at. Where these mouthpieces for the Reich will literally invert reality while you're watching reality happen. Again, no one gets over on you, Rubes. How's your retirement account looking? You might want to cash that out before today, for the opening bell. Because I have a feeling about another, I don't know, 15% of it, maybe more, 20% is going to disappear. And again, this may be the time, I just have a feeling, that the market's not going to go back up this time. And everything's not going to go back to normal this time. And you can't just ride it out till a Democrat wins in 4 years. That's not going to happen. There's not going to be any more elections. I'm sorry to break it to you. It's not going to get better till the very end. We're in for a really rough ride. I wish we weren't. And here we are at the end. 4 soldiers, American soldiers, you patriots out there that pretend to care about this, died in Lithuania. And the Lithuanians showed them the utmost respect when their bodies were being transported. And when they arrived in the United States, they were shown the utmost respect. Except one guy didn't give a shit. He was golfing with the Saudis after he intentionally tanked the market on Thursday. He could have just made an appearance and received these soldiers and did the dignified thing, the noble thing, and just stood there stoically as the soldiers were moved. No, not Donnie. He just hides in the closet on the airplane, or he hides on the golf course at Doral, or wherever he went. But he loves the soldiers, right? Patriots? No. That's an easy dunk for a president to look presidential, to look like they give a shit. Just stand there when the plane lands, let the people transport the bodies, and just be present. That's all you got to do. That was too much for your Antichrist. As he was hiding from the press on the golf course, and you were paying for it. Literally. At his own golf course. Again, he's pocketing the money. Couldn't find some time for these 4 soldiers. But I know he cares about the troops, right, Rubes? Right, Patriots? No, he doesn't. Not at all. Not whatsoever. 2 hours and 8 minutes. I was not planning on going this long. I'm going to smoke one more cigarette with you and give my closing remarks. My closing remarks are, again, your name is on abject evil. I'm going to keep the iPad for a little extra light here. Again, your name is on abject evil. And I don't care if you recognize that evil, agree with me when I say it's evil. I don't care if you believe in Jesus Christ like me or whatever you believe. I don't care if you're a Buddhist, whatever the fuck you got going on. The evil's still coming to your door. And the paradigm I laid out is still the paradigm of your existence. And you best acknowledge it for your own sake, not for mine. Because if you don't, you lose everything. And again, not here. This is nothing. I'm talking about for eternity. Again, when it comes time to make that decision, When they come to you when we're all weak, vulnerable, starving, all of our retirements are gone, Social Security is dismantled intentionally. And they come, Leon and Donnie, to save the day. And they say, we know the economy is in shambles all across the world, but we have a solution. Donnie coin. And, we'll start you off with 10,000, 20,000, or whatever you lost in the market, your retirement, whatever. We'll just replace it with Donnie coin. Don't worry. We've got you. Just sign this, renunciation of the Trinity real quick. When that moment comes and they want to give you the mark, which will probably go on your hand, you must say no. You must. If you don't, it's going to cost you everything. What you're not prepared to pay. So again, I hope for your sake, because I don't get jack shit out of this. I shouldn't even give a fuck. The things I'm on here talking about, you think they do wonders for my reputation? Most of you don't even know what the fuck I'm talking about, because you haven't studied it. Could you take a couple hundred bots shit talking you every night? I doubt it. Me, that's Tuesday. My point is, I shouldn't care. I shouldn't be saying these things. Because honestly, most people don't deserve them. And most people won't listen anyway. And they'll take the opportunity to have a little fun. And shit talk. They'll spend their last 5 minutes on Earth shit talking some guy on YouTube who's trying to drop some wisdom on them. What a shame that is. And not for me, for you, that you would use your last 5 minutes on that. Not good. Not good in the eyes of the man. And, I've never sat here and tried to present myself as, the perfect little Jesus Christian my whole life. That's not the point. We've all done our things, haven't we? The point is, do you have remorse for them? Are you willing to acknowledge something greater than yourself? Are you capable of quietly calming yourself and being at peace and finding understanding, seeing the big picture here, where it's going? Nazi salute should tell you. Removal of books about the Holocaust should tell you where this is going. Army mobilizations in the Middle East should tell you where this is going. The tanking of the market intentionally should tell you where this is going. In other words, you got to take the blinders off, son. And you have to see what's before you. Forget political parties. This isn't politics. This is good and evil, son. So forget who has what letter next to their fucking name. Forget your brainwashing. Forget your rubery. And just see what's before you. And what's before you is an orange-faced grifter in a diaper, looting you for every penny he can, by any means. And who will eventually, and already does, ask for your worship. Who thinks they're God? You think I'm joking? Leon as well thinks he's God. They have a God complex. They have a I have to be king complex. They have a I have to be worshipped complex. Both of them. Very dangerous. They're both sociopaths. They haven't the least empathy or sympathy for you. Or anyone. Leon puts his kid on his shoulders for a reason, son. That's not because he's not a sociopath. So you need to see what's before you and act accordingly and get your mind right for what's about to happen. What's about to happen? World War III, moving to cashless, no borders, your 401k is gone, your Social Security gone, all that. And eventually, again, the end goal is worship. You think that commercial with the golden Donnie statues on the Holy Land, you think that was a joke? Have you ever seen that before? No, you haven't. This is different. Be at peace. Think about it. Leave the letters next to their name out of the fucking thought process. Do yourself a favor and see the grift. And this is the ultimate grift by a being that knows exactly how to play you, called the devil. Knows exactly what you care about, knows how to get to you, knows how to make you miserable. That's the path you're walking. Right to that thing, that imp, destined for the lake. There's no avoiding it. As powerful as the imp thinks he is, there's no avoiding it. His destiny is the lake. You're walking right into his arms if your name is on this. So you need to get your name off of it. And you don't have much time. For your sake, I hope you listen. Or not listen to me. I hope you open your eyes and see. Forget about what I'm saying. Do it yourself. Just look at the situation. Look at the indicators. Ask yourself, well, where's this going? It's going, again, to the loss of your retirement, the loss of our economy, to where we're all weak and vulnerable, possibly set up for an attack. And again, they come in at the last minute with the solution to the problem they made happen. Donnie Coin. And eventually it leads to worship. Donnie will require that of you. No one's about loyalty more than Donnie. No one's about adoration more than Donnie. Except for Leon, he's the same exact creature. This should tell you where it's all going. And again, Christians, you're cool with an American president having gold statues in Gaza of themselves? That doesn't seem a little biblical to you? A little golden calf-like? A little bit of God complex there? No? Then you were never a Christian, son. Never. I don't care how many fucking times you went to church. I don't care how much money you put in a collection plate. If you couldn't see the evil on this fucker back in 2015 even, I wonder if you were ever a Christian. But especially now. Anyway, until the next episode, turn the fuck away. Do yourself a favor. Don't do it for me. Don't do it for anybody. Do it for yourself. And again, just assess the situation for yourself. Leave the brainwashing aside. Leave the letter next to the candidate aside. What is the man doing to you? And then act accordingly. Have a good evening.